Hello, bros. We're back. Hello, bros. This is why I'm not reading The Rhythm of Beowulf, an interpretation of the normal and hypermetric, I think that says hyper, does that say hyper? Hypermetric verse forms in Old English poetry by John Collins Pope. I had planned to read all three of these eventually, but this one is beyond my comprehension, especially in the middle where it starts talking about, I mean, the original text. I mean, how the fuck am I supposed to read this? What does this even say? Following passages have been selected with a view in representing as fully as possible the aesthetic effect of the new system. Beowulf has naturally been favored, but three other poems find places at the end. The first of these, Caedmon's hymn, is included partly for the sake of comparison. But yeah, Hoit we Gardina. I can't read that bullshit. So that's why I'm not reading this. I'm going to sell this book, so I have no use for it. By his own might, The Battles of Beowulf by Dorothy Hosford. Drawings by Laszlo Machule. Maybe I should just look at some of the stuff about Ali McCullough. Although I'm stuck on figuring out who Anna Rice is. Let us talk more about Ellie McCullough. Kind of gives her the look of that Pixies video. Here comes your man. Look at that hair. I wonder if they had some Indian in them. Some Native American. Or is that just how hair was back then because they didn't have conditioner or whatever? Her hair looks exceptionally thick. I don't know, bruv. Anyway, that's why I can't read Beowulf, because I can read Beowulf. I can read both of these copies, but I can't read this because I guess I could just skip this section where it goes into whatever the hell this language is. I cannot interpret that, and I can't even interpret what this is. Moran, it'd take me 6 weeks to decipher that, and it would be pointless to read this because I have no comprehension of what this is about. 5 preliminary syllables. So yeah. That's why I'm not reading Beowulf. Maybe I'll read this book. I thought this would be a great book to read. Secret at Midwinter End by Maureen Wakefield. The secret hidden in the mysterious room at Midwinter End was too terrible a burden for one pair of shoulders to bear. See how long? Oh, these chapters are pretty damn long too. But there are sections to these chapters. The Secret at Midwinter's End by Maureen Wakefield. Lalage Derwent was a modest career girl, working at a routine office job with a pleasant but untrained voice when she unexpectedly won an audition. Soon a skillful impresario had turned her into Petal Star, a creature of moonlight and magic, illumined by the spotlight of publicity. But the glitter was spurious, and Lalage had to decide if she had not become no more than a puppet doll manipulated by invisible strings. The love-hate relationship between Lalage Derwent and Mike Derricott was inevitable when two red-headed tempers clashed, gingers, transforming Lalage from a pale, dull cocoon of a secretary into the glamorous blonde butterfly of the moonlight. You think this book's a good one? Hey! Let's read about Secret at Midwinter's. This has got to be read. It's basically Midwinter's End, isn't it? Let's read this bullshit. I started at least 1974. Yeah, when I saw this, I was like, this is the worst looking book I've ever seen. Chapter 1. I inherited my red hair and my gray eyes from my Italian grandmother. My love of music, my flair for singing snatches of operatic arias came from her, too. But where I got my quick temper, lack of patience towards slow, stupid things and people I do not know. Certainly not from Aunt Kathy. When both my parents died in a flu epidemic, I was 3. Aunt Kathy stepped in and took charge, adopting me. From then on, she directed my life. We're on our own now. You and me, young Lally, she warned sternly. Cashier at the paying out desk of the local supermarket, she was the terror of the neighborhood, tart and middle-aged, keeping herself to herself. As she described it, she seemed bent only on one thing, instilling what she called respectability into me. Life in the unseen world's old, free, good. The hell is that? Oh, that's a comment over the fucking thing. Oh, there it is. I see. I was like, what the fuck is this? But it's just a notification. What book? This book. Secret at Midwinter End. This is a real bromance book. Yes, if it kills me, she said grimly. It seemed likely to kill me, too, at first. But I survived and even thrived under her Spartan upbringing. Fondly hoped. Whoa, I skipped a page. Her Spartan upbringing. And I dare say I was the better for it. If the truth be told, under Aunt Kathy's, I'm going to keep saying Aunt Kathy, under Aunt Kathy, if I say aunt, it's going to be coffee. So Aunt Kathy's iron regime, I learned to live and let live, develop a sturdy resilience toward the knockdown blows of fate that stood me in good stead later on when I met Mike Derricott. Yeah, I saw that. I just didn't understand what the hell happened. I thought someone posted like a link to a video in there, but it was just a comment. When Aunt Kathy passed on in due course after a short illness, leaving me on my own, I found myself thrown upon the doubtful mercies of a cold, hard world, a world I discovered that was not in the least interested in the welfare or continued existence of a Lalage Derwent in its midst. That's Lalage right there. And that's Mike Derrick, that bastard. But thanks to Aunt Kathy's fierce insistence that I study and not waste my time, I did well in high school. What the hell does this say? The fuck does that say? Oh, I see what it says. It said my position was locked. Turn the thing back. All right. I did well in high school and secured a good job in a downtown office. When my first week's salary came to hand in its neat little envelope, I felt that I was treading upon air. Hold it, Lally. The paycheck remonstrated with me, laughing. It's only money, you know. She did not realize that it was my first taste of real freedom, true economic independence. How could she? To her, no doubt, I was just that red-haired junior in the filing department. On her first job. Indeed, I was so green that when I first went after the post, I thought filling had something to do with one's fingernails, or filing. Pardon. I moved out of Aunt Kathy's modest apartment at once and moved into a slightly larger one, sharing with 3 other girls nearer to my place of work. This arrangement worked very well, and we were all the best of friends. 2 worked in the same... I can't read this bullshit. Book is fucking terrible. Terrible. Snatching them out of the fire. Let's get some Christian. Look at these sons of bitches burning in hell. Help me, God damn it. Look at that. The fuck is that? A simian? Look at those faces. Help me. Help me else fire, buddy. God damn it, Jim. Snatching them out of the fire. Dr. W.H. Murphy, Sr., Pastor Greater Ebenezer Missionary Baptist Church, Detroit, Michigan. What year we got here? 1980s? 1988. That's not too long ago. Forward. We're going to skip the forward because I know I want to get right to hell. Chapter 1, Snatching Them Out of the Fire. There is an old cliche that says different strokes for different folks. The cliche seems to imply connotatively the same as Jude 22 and 23, King James Version. When Jude penned the words in these verses, he must have taken into account the various characteristics of people. He obviously understood that men differ physically, mentally, emotionally, socially, and spiritually. Therefore, he exalts us to make a difference. Notice what he says. And if some have compassion, making a difference, and others save with fear, pulling them out of the fire, hating even the garment spotted by the flesh. The Amplified Bible states, verse 22, and refute so as to convict some who dispute with you, and on some have mercy who waver in doubt. Strive to save others, snatching them out of the fire. On others take pity, but with fear, loathing even the garment spotted by the flesh and polluted by their sensuality. The King James Version and the Amplified Bible both suggest that there are great differences in the degrees of sin and in the danger of sinners. Many times we emphasize the point. I don't think this book's going to do it either. I think I'm going to... Where's that book? What the hell is it? Whoa. Where the hell are we looking at here? That one. The coming Russian invasion of Israel. That's what we want. Oh. Or maybe we should go with this one. I've wanted to read this book for a long time. The Secret Destiny of America by Manly Palmer Hall. Although I think he generally goes by Manly P. Hall. Holy shit, that's from Dr. Lovewell? Did not know that. See, this brings me to another thing. Dr. Lovewell. And I don't recall where I got these books. And I really need to write something about this guy. Because I picked up these books by Dr. Lovewell. And then I found out that Dr. Lovewell had a very bad accident where he nearly died, and then he became, what's that called, an osteopath? He was heading to tell a relative that another family member had died, and as he was driving with his brother in Northville, Michigan, can't remember what his brother's name was, they were driving down the road, and like a gravel truck or something like that pulled right out in front of him, and they slammed into him. I don't remember where I bought these books, but I believe it was at this one house where I got a bunch of UFO stuff. But there were some really curious things about Lovewell. Dr. Lovewell. His wife was a doctor too. Northville, Michigan. And all the books he had were like these kind of things: How to Be a Medium, The Practical Magnetic Healer, Hallucination or Reality, The Case for Astral Projection, Psychic Observer Bookshop, Jamestown, New York. And I did not realize that this book also came from him. So that's crazy. I wonder how many more books I have of his that I separated from each other. The Secret Destiny of America. What should we go with? The Coming Invasion, Russian Invasion of Israel, or The Secret Destiny of America? I think this one's pretty much summed up in the fact that the Illuminati owns America. But now I got to put this one back. See, I thought I only had 4 books by Lovewell, but now I know I got 5. I definitely need to cover that guy. You want to go with Destiny? I think this book's crazier. That's what everyone claims Armageddon starts, is when Russia invades Israel. And they have it lined up where Russia is perpetually against Israel by proxy, because obviously the United States rejects Russia and wouldn't let them join NATO like 800 times. And it's like they are forcing Russia. They're forcing Russia to be an enemy with Israel. And Russia's been pushed into alliances with like Iran and all those places, even though I don't think Russia particularly wants to, but they have to have some kind of alliances. America and Prophecy. Jack Van Impe. But he had a record about this. This guy's brilliant. Well, he's dead now. Maybe the Ashkenazi connection. Let's see what else I can find over here. I got a lot of crazy books up here. Descent into Slavery. Wall Street and the Rise of Hitler. America's Secret Aristocracy. The Shadows of Power. Secrets of the Federal Reserve. Secret Proceedings and Debates. The Missing Dimension in World Affairs. A Nation Betrayed. Fuck all this. All this voodoo bullshit. Magic of the Ordinary. Those things are brilliant back there. They foresaw the future. JFK. There we go. JFK, the Dead Witnesses. Since they're supposedly releasing all that stuff. The whole Missouri-Utah LDS thing is interesting too. Don't think I know any of that. Didn't most of them come from Russia? I don't know. All I know is Russia has hot women. It's the only thing I know. And that Stalin was 50 times worse than Hitler. He killed up to 100 million people, but no one seems to. Oh yeah, I don't understand why Stalin's just like no one cares about Stalin, even though he literally killed his own son and he killed like 50 million Russians, starved them to death, but no one seems to hate him. He smoked a Peterson. Is that like son of Peter? JFK, The Dead Witnesses by Craig Roberts and John Armstrong. Deliceps Morrison, the mayor of New Orleans during the realm of Carlos Marcello and the anti-Castro operations of the Guy Bannister Detective Agency. I'm not reading this shit. This is basically just a possibly poison. "7 days after the funeral, while eating dinner, he took a bite of food, paused briefly as a pained look came over his face, then passed out and fell face down into his plate. He died instantly. On December 12th, his possession and mementos, which had been sent home to Birmingham, Michigan, were destroyed in a fire of mysterious origin. The honor guard, for some mysterious reason, had been practicing for a presidential funeral for 3 days before the assassination." That's proof, then. Lee Harvey Oswald was the first and most important dead witness. That's true. Not reading this bullshit either. Tales for a Rainy Night. The fuck do we got over here? Cults? Maybe I just should look at the books that are in front of me. Maybe I'll find something here about this guy, Dr. Lovewell. Doesn't seem to make any notes in his books. I should find that story about Lovewell. Wait, he did some underlining. The condition, if excitant, or even cause it to appear if imaginary. How to be a medium. Treatment for stiff joints. Let's see if I can find this. The story about him crashing. The car crash. Dr. Lovewell. How to be a medium. David McKay Company. 2nd edition. All right then, mate. Come on, pull it up. Let's look up Lovewell. Every known form of mediumship is described by the author in this comprehensive book. He shows how one can discover whether one possesses. Sure he can. Let's type in Lovewell. No, that's not it. There it is. The Miracle Man, motherfucker. How do I turn off this light? So we can look at this. One of the stories that will not make the paranormal cut is out of Northville. and involves a man named Paul Lovewell. He was a doctor and osteopath. To be more specific, in high school, he listed his senior library book as The Miracle Man, which have included a glorious first edition photo from that time period, and he was noted to be of extreme intelligence, though his class photos always seemed to be one of a foreboding person. The novel is about a charlatan selling miracles to foolish people. Where the fuck I lost it? It ties in with Lovewell's own life after he miraculously survived a horrific car accident while delivering the bad news to relatives of his father's demise. Somehow, likely through an estate sale, I acquired a handful of Lovewell's books on the paranormal and have always wondered what his interest was in it, and then discovered the news article about the car crash. I wonder if he experienced astral projection and practiced mediumship and magnetic healing, as he would eventually buy such books on those topics. Unfortunately, like his father, he died relatively young, and so much of his estate is likely scattered, having come to pass a half century ago. It's a mystery that I'd like to dig deeper into. There's that book, that creepy ass book, The Miracle Man. Want that book, but it's like $100. See if I can pull this up. Where is he? Paul. I don't see Paul. Lovewell. There he is. Paul Lovewell, The Miracle Man. I want to find that article. There's his car. That's what his car looked like. It's obviously not his car. How to be a medium, the practical magnetic healer. There it is. Paul. What the fuck? Let's go higher. Sons injured as planned last rites for their father. 2 Lovewell boys are seriously hurt in auto crash. Near tragedy was written into the last rites for Scott A. Lovewell, well-known Northfield real estate dealer, whose funeral was held Monday when his 2 sons, Dr. Paul Lovewell and Carlisle Lovewell, were frightfully injured Saturday afternoon in an automobile accident while on the way to Union Lake to tell close family friends of the funeral arrangements for their father. As they circled the highway near Mud Lake in Oakland County, where the father and his 2 sons had often fished in the years gone by, a big ice truck suddenly backed from a driveway into the main thoroughfare just as the Essex coach Dr. Paul Lovewell was driving emerged over the top of the hill. It was too late for either driver to avert the mishap that followed. Crashing into the side of the truck with terrific force, the 2 young men were so frightfully injured that for a time it was feared neither would live. Dr. Paul Lovewell's face was crushed in and a big gaping hole torn into his forehead. The other occupant of the car was also frightfully cut and bruised. They were hurried to Sessions Hospital in Northville, both in an unconscious condition, and later removed to the University of Michigan Hospital because of the seriousness of their injuries. As doctors and nurses watched carefully over them Monday afternoon, they said that Carlisle would recover from his injuries and that Dr. Paul Lovewell had a fair chance to survive, and that unless complications developed, he probably would be able to leave the hospital within a few weeks, although his face will be frightfully marked. That's crazy. All right, let's see if I can get this back on. And I've looked in vain for more stuff about him, but I've never been able to find anything. Except about his wife carrying on the practice and all that bullshit. I was hoping I would find his name somewhere on some strange pamphlet or something, but all I've got is these 5 books, which give you a definite hint on his proclivities. What does that say? The prophecies of Nostradamus? The prophecies of Nostradamus, it does. Which, I have a shitload of Nostradamus, which I think is total fucking bullshit, but whatever. Book Room 1 is my fucking paranormal book. Book Room. The origin of the democratic idea. That's so crazy that it's Paul Lovewell's. What does this say? Chesterfield? The Secret Destiny of America's Psychic Observer Bookshop, Indiana. Wish he had some notes on this. In these. Of course, when I bought these, I didn't realize that all of them had this guy's name in it. But I don't believe it was his house because he died a long time ago. I believe his wife died at least 20 years ago, so I don't think it could have been her house. Could have been, though. If it's the sale, I think it was. I don't think it was that sale, though. I believe the sale was not in Northville. But how would somebody get all these books unless it was his own collection? Guess it could have been his son's or something. Does that say Classic Bookstore? Detroit. January 22nd, 1953. Abe Brash. Something number 1 Beaubien Street. Does this say scrofula? He's got the fucking scrofula. Hey, buddy. Maybe I should just start searching for this guy. Should see what day he died. Democracy. So the fact is, he must have believed in all this stuff. Why else would you have this book? And this is more conspiracy than it is paranormal or whatever you want to call it. Esoteric, hallucination, or reality. Classic Bookstore, Detroit. So we went there a bunch in 1953. I'm just going to Classic Bookstore a lot. This one's 52. He dates every book he found. June 1st, 1951. All right, I want to go back to astral projection, because that one's probably the most interesting considering what happened to him. He had a hole in his forehead. A fucking hole in his forehead. 1946, Aries Press. Of course, no notes. Very, very sad. Whoa, has some underlining. I ain't really got to tell me anything, though. Desire, and you will accomplish your desires, which are not sinful. Desires being as prayers to the divinity. I should do a search on Lovewell right now. Maybe it's time, since I didn't even know that this was going to come up. Let's see, Dr. Lovewell. I will not put this on because then you'll see my password. For the Library of Michigan. Let's look at the newspapers. Newspapers. We will start with, I'm going to go National World Collection. Come on, buddy. All right, we're in. Paul Lovewell. See what we get. Turn off this bullshit again. Dr. Paul Lovewell. Maybe I should go to his grave. All right, let's find Michigan. There's nothing for Michigan. That's right. Where did he went to school? I think in Hawaii, of all fucking places. If I remember right. Find a grave. I don't think he's in this. How many results are in there for this bullshit? 2,800. What the fuck? I'm gonna add Michigan to this. Michigan. Come on, Paul. Whoop him, Paul. Traverse City. That's right. I think he was up north at some point here. This is Paul Lovewell. They're at their cottage on the lake. What was his brother's name? Carlisle? It's the end of the results. It's bullshit boring. All right, at least copy that. Go back. The fuck are you doing? Go back, you bastard. All right, we don't want World Collection. We want Detroit. Detroit! Don't show the password. Detroit. Detroit news. I don't think I'm going to find anything on Paul. Come on, Paul Lovewell. No, that's the wrong one, you fucking idiot. Paul. Guess I didn't know. Come on, Paul. 1958. 2 results. A junior and honor student in elementary education. Mary is the daughter. So Mary's alive. Well, at least she was in 58. 34. Mr. and Mrs. blah, 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 blah. They're planning to live in Northville. They don't tell me shit. I guess I give up on Paul. Sorry, Paul. Put you back on the shelf for another year. Where else could I look up Paul Lovewell? Dr. Paul Lovewell. South Lyon. He died in what year? Why the fuck's that showing in 2024? There's the frightfully injured. He went to Stanford? I thought he went to Hawaii. I think he was in Hawaii at one point. Let's see what this is. Turn this back off. Where the hell's Paul? Jesus Christ. Control, find Paul. Is that Paul? No, that's not Paul. It's Paul Thompson. Enlarge this motherfucker. Where's Paul? God damn it. Where are you, Paul? Uh-oh. I think I enlarged this like 1,000 times. Yeah. God damn it. You fucking imbecile. You're a bloody imbecile. God, bullshit. There's Paul. But that ain't Paul. That ain't the Paul we looking for. That ain't the Paul we're looking for either. It's got to be the second one. No, you motherfucker. Give me love well. Love you well, Paul. Yeah, he's not in there. Son of a bitch. Victoria Lovewell. See when she died. See if it's possible I went to her estate, which I don't think I did. No, she died in 96. There's no way I didn't even fucking know about estate sales then. So that's out of the realm. Maybe their daughter. Definitely never went to an estate sale before about 2010, I would say. Children, Lucian. 2006. See, that's even too long ago. Lucian. Doesn't sound like a female name, though, does it? Lucian. Lucian Scott. So he definitely has a daughter. So that newspaper article mentioned it. Lucian. Where are these people buried? South Lyon Cemetery. South Leone. I don't fucking know. 148 Marie Street, East Northville. Mary was the daughter, and she lived in Wayne, Michigan. My Heritage, born 1905. Oh, that's Wayne County. So when was Mary born? Mary couldn't have been born in 1905. Victoria wasn't even born in 1906. Or you mean Paul? Paul was born 1904. Died when he was 64. Paul 05. It says 04 on there, but it could be wrong. It says it on his grave, too, that he was 04. But it might be wrong. Don't know. Victoria was 1906. I want to know where Mary was. Carlisle. Let's read about Carlisle. Lyle Lovewell. Sunnyside. He died in Washington State. Weird. Okay, OT saying circa 05 here. Let's see about Carlisle's wife, Grace Margaret Cardwell Lovewell. It's a weird fucking combination, Cardwell Lovewell. Sunnyside Cemetery. She was born in Grand Rapids. What? There's no way Grace married Lyle Lovewell in 1910. He was 2 years old. What kind of bullshit is this? She wasn't even born until April 18th, you dumb motherfucker. So she got married on her birthday. Damn, her and Carlisle. Carlisle was 2 and she was a fucking infant and they got married. It's Indiana for you. Yeehaw! Someone done botched it. Flaherty. Flirtle? You flirtled it, buddy. You fucking flirtled it. Huguette Clark. Oh, I like Empty Mansions, the book about Waugh Clark, the Copper Baron. I have that book somewhere, I believe. I thought Empty Mansions was about, what's that fucker? Edgar Casey. Are you thinking of Green Mansions? The fuck is that book at? I know I have it somewhere. Empty Mansions. How did I see that? No, it's Many Mansions. No, wait, I have that book. Is that the one you're talking about? All right, I think I do have that book. The hell is that book at? Oh yeah, Huguette Clark. Yeah, I have that book somewhere. I don't know where I put it. Empty fucking mansions. Where did I put it, bruv? Who, Paul did or Carlisle? Are you talking about William A. Clark? Oh yeah, William A. Clark's that guy from Nevada. Guy's fucked up. I thought you were talking about Carlisle. Carlisle fucking Lovewell. It's just so crazy that you mentioned the Manly P. Hall book and then I fucking open it's got Lovewell in there. Could have swore I bought this book recently, but I think it's a different book by Manly P. Hall. Now I got to look through all my other books and find more of these. Who knows how many books I have by Lovewell. What was that book called? The one about his high school thing? The Healer? The Healer. Dirk Gently. Saw that book yesterday at the library. Mass market paperback, and I said fuck no to it. Let's look on eBay. Screebay. The Healer. Who was it by? The Healer. The Healer. antique book. The healer. Is that it? No. Herrick? Might be Herrick. Don't sound right though. Fuck you. Come on, eBay. This fucking old computer. Never buying a new computer. F that. That ain't right. It's Herrick. You fucking mono. Robert Herrick. I don't think that's who it was. I don't know. I'm not looking all this shit up again. I gave up on you, Lovewell. Mabel A. Riffle has been arrested 4 times. She is quite philosophical about it and says Jesus Christ was arrested too, wasn't he? Guidance and unfoldment is from higher realms wherein basic truth and divine wisdom are paramount. Oh man, it's 2 o'clock. Jesus Christ. I'm tired. The first demonstrations will be raps on the trumpet. This shows that enough power has been generated for the beginnings of manifestations. Rena Rifle. Is that what her name was? Too tired to even comprehend anything right now. Rifle, Mabel. I don't know what the hell Showgirls is. Is that the movie? The one with that one girl that was on like Saved by the Bell? It's very disappointing when that girl, what was her name, Elizabeth, basically prostituted herself thinking she was going to become a big star, and it didn't work. You just became naked, and then they fucking dumped you anyway. Is that Bruce fucking Willis? It's a young Bruce Willis. It does look like Bruce. Hey! Elizabeth Berkley. Wasn't spelled like that though. I think it had an E. Eaton Rapids, dedicated to the mediums of bygone years who have blazed the psychic trail for these who follow. Oh man. All right, I gotta give up. Need some water in the shower. Peace. If I can shut this motherfucker off.